In this podcast episode, Andrew Huberman interviews Ido Portal, a renowned movement teacher and founder of movement culture, diving deep into the interconnections between movement, mind, and self-awareness. The conversation explores how movement practices, deliberate awareness, playfulness, and language shape our physical and mental capabilities. They also address concepts such as discipline versus willpower, liminal states between sleep and wakefulness, emotional granularity, and the neuroscience behind tenacity and presence. Throughout the discussion, Ido offers practical insights for cultivating neuroplasticity, refining body schema, and living a more embodied and enriched life. Ido differentiates discipline from willpower by comparing discipline to the wall used in handstand training, a scaffolding that should support but not dominate the process. While discipline helps get tasks going, such as writing a book, leaning too hard on it leads to dependency and rigidity. Willpower, in contrast, is elusive and innate. It cannot be built, but only uncovered through practice that involves moments when one does not want to do the task. In these moments, playfulness and relaxation are crucial for accessing willpower without forcing or motivating oneself aggressively. This gentle, playful approach counters the common tendency to rely solely on external motivators or harsh discipline, opening the door to deeper transformation and sustained reliability in action. Ido and Andrew discuss the subtle, often overlooked transitions between sleep and waking, emphasizing the value of awareness in these liminal states. These moments provide opportunities for neuroplasticity and recalibration of rigid mental and bodily models. Practices such as waking in the middle of the night to grieve or meditate can deepen emotional processing, promote openness, and facilitate the breaking down of entrenched mental schemas. The concept that there's no distinct moment when a transition occurs, such as the pause between inhale and exhale in breath meditation, highlights the fluidity of states and the importance of cultivating awareness of these subtle experiences. The episode touches upon neuroscientific insights, particularly the role of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex in developing tenacity through disciplined action. While the neural correlates of discipline and willpower are becoming better understood, the biology of playfulness remains elusive but is clearly essential for longevity and emotional resilience. Ido stresses the need for emotional granularity, the ability to recognize and differentiate nuanced feelings beyond broad categories like happy or sad. This granularity prevents emotional rigidity and depression by allowing individuals to inhabit complex, multi-stable emotional states and transform their internal models continuously. Rather than treating movement practice as merely a form of exercise or physical fitness, Ido advocates for viewing it as a continuous, integrated mode of awareness that permeates daily activities. Movements such as sitting, drinking from a cup, or walking become opportunities to engage with the body's fine-grained signals, promoting high-resolution sensory and motor schemas. This embodied presence is akin to meditation, but grounded in dynamic, physical experience rather than static postures. Cultivating this deep somatic awareness enhances neuroplasticity, recalibrates body schema, and counters the flattening effects of modern sedentary lifestyles and digitally dominated environments. Ido and Andrew examine the importance of the mental models and language we use to conceptualize our experiences. Language acts as both a container and pointer to experience, but words often fail to fully capture the richness of embodied or emotional states. The conversation references Lisa Feldman Barrett's research showing how cultures with more nuanced emotional vocabulary foster deeper self-understanding. Ido stresses the importance of holding ambiguity and incompleteness, embracing paradoxes, and resisting the rush to simplify or resolve every experience. By doing so, we broaden our conceptual and emotional palettes and create space for more complex, richer experiences of self and other. Playfulness is deeply intertwined with experiencing awe, curiosity, and aesthetic intensity. These qualities stimulate emotional and neural renewal by breaking rigid patterns and introducing novelty. Ido gives examples ranging from sensory contrast experiences like hot and cold showers to sky gazing and engaging with challenging poetry and symbolic literature. These practices cultivate emotional richness and openness, which buffer against depression and stagnation. Awe, in particular, emerges as a vital emotional nutrient missing from many modern lives, even playing a key role in the therapeutic effects of psychedelics. The conversation critiques the overwhelming amount of low-resolution, fragmented stimuli that dominate digital and social media spaces, arguing that they degrade our sensory and cognitive capacities over time. Ido encourages cultivating discernment in what sensory information we consume, emphasizing the value of high-resolution, complex inputs, be it natural sounds like birdsong or rich aesthetic experiences, over rapid, simplified content like TikTok videos. This attentiveness supports sensory refinement and preserves the nervous system's capacity for nuance and depth. Ido highlights the importance of practices that cultivate genuine emotional experiences, such as grief, remorse, and acceptance of complexity. These states are often avoided or superficially addressed, but are crucial for integration and transformation. Practicing to stay with uncomfortable emotions without forcing resolution or escape enables emotional multistability, the capacity to hold contradictory feelings and still function effectively. This range deepens self-knowledge and strengthens resilience, shifting views of emotions from obstacles to essential nutrients of the inner life. Using examples from skateboarding, boxing, and other sports, Ido unpacks the difference between superficial perfection and an adaptable, high-quality movement that thrives in unpredictable contexts. He illustrates how elite athletes, particularly skateboarders like Antoine Dixon and Jimmy Wilkins, exhibit a refined sense of air sense, the ability to orient and adjust dynamically in midair, blending speed, control, and adaptability. This capacity comes less from raw strength and more from finely tuned sensory motor integration and a meta-movement strategy. True mastery embraces variability and chaos, contrasting with robotic perfection that lacks functional adaptability. Ido stresses that all cognitive and motor models are inherently imperfect, but some are more useful than others. To sustain growth and avoid stagnation or injury, whether physical or psychological, one must constantly revise and refresh these models. This applies to biomechanics, emotional schemas, conceptual frameworks, and social interactions. By interacting playfully and attentively with our bodily and mental models, we foster plasticity and improve our functional resilience. The process requires rigorous presence combined with openness to change, echoing the philosophical notion that life is not about mastering fixed endpoints, but engaging in ongoing practice. Movement culture, as presented by Ido, transcends traditional fitness paradigms by incorporating mindfulness, play, and an appreciation of sensory detail to cultivate presence. Unlike isolated workouts, it becomes a way of being integrated into everyday experiences, listening to the body, observing subtle internal and external cues, and embracing variability and complexity. This practice enhances not only physical longevity, but also mental and emotional health through rapid neuroplasticity. Movement thus serves as a bridge between somatic awareness and cognitive emotional transformation. Expanding beyond individual experience, Ido frames relationships as ongoing shared practices rather than fixed states or achievements. Healthy relationships require viewing each other not as adversaries or static identities, but as co-practitioners in a continuous, evolving game of mutual presence, attention, and support. This infinite game mindset fosters deeper transformation, resilience, and connection beyond romantic idealizations or transactional interactions. The cultivation of relationship as a shared practice parallels the cultivation of self through movement and awareness. Ido underscores that major transformation does not always require high volume or intensity. Instead, moments of freshness, small, novel experiences that feel different, can provoke profound and lasting change. The key is to notice, linger with, and integrate these moments rather than rushing past them. This sensitivity to subtle ripples undergirds many effective micropractices, whether in movement, meditation, or emotional work. Attentive engagement with these small but potent events can shift entrenched neural and bodily patterns without overwhelming the system. Finally, the discussion touches on the interplay of movement, language, and awareness as mutually reinforcing faculties shaping human experience. Movement serves as a form of embodied language, conveying meaning beyond words, while awareness provides the contextual ground for both articulation and feeling. Cultivating the granularity of this triad enhances not just physical performance, but cognitive flexibility and emotional depth. The unknown dimensions, X quantities, within these domains require openness and humility, as much of this terrain remains beyond current scientific models, yet profoundly accessible through practice.